This week in the conversation, I have the privilege to welcome author Soniyaa Murhe in the conversation. She's reading a very interesting novel titled One Step Closer. But before we get into the video, I just want to remind everyone that it's important to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you do, don't forget to click the notification bell so that way every time a video is posted, it'll go directly into your portable. So let's get started. Again, my name is Ardain Isma, and I'm here this evening or this morning with impeccable writer Soniyaa Murhe. She's joining me from India, and we're going to be talking about her debut novel titled One Step Closer. Soniyaa, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Soniyaa, would you please tell the viewers of CSMS Magazine who is Soniyaa Murhe?
Sure. So I am based in a state I'm based in Maharashtra in India, and in the city of Pune, which is the cultural capital of Maharashtra.
Okay.
So Pune is famous for its food and the different universities and everything. And by profession, I am an instructional designer. So I create various training and development modules. I create content for that. And so writing has always been a huge part of my life.
Your muse, your passion.
Exactly. So ever since I was 15, 16, I used to write small, tiny little notes. But I never had the courage to actually post it publicly or present it to someone. Okay. So it was I think 5 to 6 years ago when I wrote a small article and which got published in a local magazine.
Right.
That sort of boosted my confidence to go out and write more. So I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. So let me just give it a try. So that's how this journey started, and it's been 5 to 6 years. I've been writing short stories, poems, quotes, blogs, etc. And eventually it led to me writing my debut novel, One Step Closer.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So let's dive into it.
Sure.
One Step Closer. Interesting story. As a matter of fact, the title itself is very intriguing. So a spectacular meet. And both of them somehow had different experiences in their life. For her, it's been because when you read, when you go into the story, you'll find out all of her resistance stem from the fact that she has had some a previous negative experience, I would say.
Okay.
But for him, it was a situation where she's never had to feel so vulnerable, so fragile in front of a woman. So the spectacular meet really is, despite that's going to tie the life unexpectedly, even unknowingly. So would you please tell the viewers, Soniyaa, why was such a spectacular entry into the story? Why did you design the beginning to be this way?
So the beginning, or the meet where both Shreya and Vikrant meet each other, had been playing in my mind for a while, because I didn't wanted the characters to just meet in a very casual way, where they would just meet, say hi, hello, and start getting to know each other. Because in our daily lives, when we walk out, we meet a lot of people, and we have different experiences with different people. And based on our experience with them, we tend to form a judgment about them.
Mm-hmm.
So this was my attempt to sort of highlight that aspect, because we don't know. So whenever I meet someone, or whenever I come across someone, and if I don't, it happens that if you don't like them or something, you quickly form a judgment about them. And we tend to understand that what maybe they're just having a bad day. Maybe they're not usually like this. They're usually not this cranky or something like that. So it is it was my way to tell people that every once in a while, if you come across people who you don't like, or if something like this happens, try to give them benefit of doubt. See if there's more to them than just what is at. Instead of taking everything at face value, try to just give them a benefit of doubt.
And there's something that you say,
Yeah.
his soul searching blue eyes stare.
Yeah.
Was that really what captures her imagination and knock off the stone heart that she's been having? Or, can the blue eye really breaks a woman's heart?
It's not just about blue eyes, but I would say, I feel that whenever I look into a person's eyes, I can get a feel of, them. Or like if you want to know more about a person, see how they talk to you, see how they maintain eye contact and everything. And I think beautiful eyes, or, big eyes that have depth, they kind of, like, I personally like that kind of a thing. So for me, if I have to talk to a person, I'll talk to them while I look at them in the eye, because I think that gives me a better idea of their personality, their behavior, and everything else.
Okay, and at the beginning in the story, she's trying to reject every very positive sentiment that she would probably start harboring in her heart for him. Yeah. And every time she thinks about it, she says, no, it can't be. That's not,
Yeah.
Now, my question is, Sonyiaa, can a heart love and hate at the same time? The same heart?
Yes, 100% it can.
Yeah.
And I think I speak for all of us when I say this, that we do have such people in our lives who get on our nerves. They can really, they can get on each and every single nerve, and still you hate them, they annoy you and everything. But at the end of the day, you've still got each other's backs. You're still there for each other, and you still love each other. So yeah. So the hatred, I would say, is not something that is permanent. It's just like a momentary this thing. But the love for that person runs deeper than that. Okay, so yes, we can love and hate a person at the same time.
They also say both hate and love carry heavy emotion. Both of them are very emotional. But which one you think that is more explicitly demonstrated? Is that love or hate?
In this story specifically?
In this story.
I think hatred and annoyance are depicted very promptly in the beginning.
That's the word, annoyance.
Exactly, annoyance. Yeah. So that annoyance, irritation, as to not being able to stand each other in the same room. So I think that is depicted very obviously in the beginning, and slowly, like one layer starts peeling off, and you start exploring the real thing behind it.
That started getting some sort of a rapprochement, if I would say, between them slowly.
Yeah.
And page 77, there's something that you say, because he was dealing with his own fragility, he was afraid of giving himself to someone. He's never done that before. And he starts asking some very important questions. And he said, what if she didn't feel exactly the same way for him? What if she thought of it merely as a passing crush? What if he wasn't what she's expected her Mr. Right to be like? What if she preferred someone else? He was really, really scared. Yeah. And you go on to say that fear of rejection froze him on his doorstep. The vision of Shreya falling in love with someone else made his heart feel constricted against his chest. It's just like it drags him to the core. Exactly. He's become very much afraid of losing her at this point.
Exactly. And these emotions are so powerful that they can knock your senses out of the park, and you can do things, you can say things that you've never done before, said before. There are no limits to what you can do when you're in love. So yes, the fear of rejection is something that I know that a lot of like people around me, and I've seen it so many times that people go through that. And the fear that, okay, no, maybe he's not gonna like me, maybe she's not gonna like me. So that stops them from even trying to explore that relationship. I mean, they hesitate, and then they just take a step back, and they don't even tend to try. So I think, yeah, that fear of rejection and love are so powerful that they can really drive you crazy in a sense. Yeah.
There's something you say when they meet here, I don't know the way you write it, if you want the character to, especially Shreya, to tell him all this truth as a disclaimer. Because you say here, it's better to assume the worst and stay safe than being sorry by the truth. Because you say, and you go on to say that, because it's not always, truth is not always delightful. This is very, very powerful. It is so true. But
And
sometimes I think it's necessary to tell the truth, right?
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, even I have dealt with this emotion where because I have been scared of so many things in my life that before, so slowly, eventually now I'm trying to, gain confidence and try out new things. But for most part of my life, I think I've been scared of people. I've been
Really?
scared of talking. Yeah. I've been scared. I've been scared of so many things that I think that was the reason why I decided to write it down, because I think writing it down was the safest outlet for me than talking to someone or discussing it out loud. So I think that is one reason that, and yes, I have seen that because telling the truth is very important. You assuming the worst and staying safe can stop you from having a great friendship or a great relationship or a great career.
That's true.
Right? But if you just tell the people are afraid of telling the truth because everybody is afraid of the fear of judgment. That if I tell the truth, people are gonna judge me. They are gonna put me in a box. I'm gonna, tick certain boxes in their list, and they are gonna have this image of me. So I think we need to normalize telling the truth. The problem is that our society has been just like either you are at a very good position or you don't just fit in anywhere in between. So I think we need to break down those barriers where we need to have an open space for everyone to speak freely and tell their truth.
Wow, I mean, that's a pretty powerful line that you have here, and I think that will resonate with any reader. Let me ask you something here, because I know that when they finally accepted, it was a spectacular ending, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Ending with great surprise. And I'm going to ask you a question, but not yet. But let me just go over this with you here.
Yeah.
You said when you finally formally, in front of everybody, ask her to marry, and she says yes, and then she said, I forgot to say something. We said, what was that? I love you. And then she said, well, I love you too. And then you said, kind of.
Yeah.
So now, why kind of?
So that was a poke at their attempt to annoy each other, the way they are, play like they're just hitting at each other in the beginning. So I didn't want to let go of that feeling completely and just show them like perfectly in love. So they still had to have that banter between them. So yeah, with him, that side of hers comes out, which is more playful and happy, and which is more passionate, I should say, intense. So that side of hers comes out when she's with him. So he brings out that in her. So I think that playful, so the annoyance and the irritation that had started in the beginning, I think I wanted to sort of include that also in the beginning. So the playful banter. So this was an attempt to keep it a little playful and intense at the same time.
Okay. So at this point, the story ends here. There's no sequel.
So there is actually a sequel to this story.
That's what I asked this question.
Yeah, but it's still in progress. So yeah, because there are so many questions that are still sort of left hanging in the air, and there are so many characters whose story is still sort of in between. And yeah, if there is a sequel and it is in progress.
Okay, I wanted to make sure.
Sweet.
I visited your Facebook offer page the other day,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I believe it was the same day when you had a book signing somewhere, and it seemed to
Yes.
me that it was pretty overwhelming. I mean, a lot of people
Yeah.
to for you. It makes
Yeah.
it so special.
Yes. Yeah, that was amazing. So I was actually planning this meet and greet before the online launch of the book, but due to some technical issues and we were a little bit late in terms of receiving the copies and everything, so I had to postpone it that time. But then I thought that I have to have this meet and greet because I hadn't seen my friends in so long due to
Really?
the COVID pandemic. We were all stuck in our houses for almost 2 years. I couldn't have any function or something. So I thought that maybe this is a good opportunity to make the most of it. And we had this meet and greet, and all my people showed up, and they are so amazing
That
because
was nice.
some of them I even met after like 5 years and
Okay.
10 years.
All right. Very
So
nice.
it took me writing a novel to actually take out time to meet them. So yeah, but that was amazing.
I could see that. Now, they say most romance novelists also tend to have develop a passion for historical fiction. Is that something maybe you think in the future you might want to consider as another genre?
Probably we'll see what the future has in store because right now my goal is to just keep on writing and keep on exploring more and keep on reading as well because I think there's so much more knowledge that I need to gain in order to approach that subject. So I think, yeah, it's let's see how that goes.
Okay. So you mean you want to say that you want to stick with romance for now?
Not just romance, actually. Right now I want to write more about mental health, women empowerment,
Women empowerment.
and especially mental health also because a lot of just around me I have seen so many people struggling with so many different things. Let it be career choices, let it be uh, relationships, friendships, or even family issues, or even communication. The major thing what I've observed is the communication between parents and their children. That this generation is just so much uh, socially, what I can say, invested that children and their and parents don't actually have a heart to heart communication. It is very difficult for parents to understand what the kids are going through, and the kids think that the parents won't understand it, that they might not relate. So I think I want to write about these things because each of these relationships have love. Two friends love each other, parents love their kids and everything. So I think along with romance I want to write about these things that matter so much on a daily basis in the current situation that we are in.
Like a young writer on the mission to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now for the purpose of time, Sonia, you and I can talk forever. I like the passion in your eyes. Um, now, at some point in the conversation, we switch a little bit. We put literature aside for a moment, and then we tend to move to something cozy. I've never been in India, but I've
Mm.
had Indian friends since college years.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, my good friend Rashmi from Atlanta, Georgia, uh, whom we talked the other day, she's written a very interesting book too, by the way.
Okay.
And she's from India, from Northeast India.
Okay.
And we were talking about Indian cuisine. And she said, well, it's very different. It depends on where you're from in India. So,
Yeah.
do you cook, Sonia?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yes.
So, what is your preferred cuisine?
It's mood based. So whatever I'm in mood of, I like cooking so it's like a decompressor. It allows me to relax and just unwind through the day.
Mm.
So I actually love experimenting with Mediterranean food. And I mean, yes, I love Indian cuisine, and everything, but I do like trying out new stuff. So Mediterranean food, Chinese food, and everything. So yeah, so it's all upon the mood that I am in, what I feel like
Really?
having. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's switch that. How about music?
I'm a huge fan of like classical music.
Really?
Yes. So especially the 90s, and be it,
Really? The 90s?
yes, yes, I love the 90s. I don't know, the 90s had such a beauty in their music. I mean, even the English music, Hollywood music, if you see, it was so different, and they had a pep, they had a zing that could just get you grooving in no matter where you are. Songs
Yeah.
today are, of course, they are good, but there's something about those songs that just makes you want to get up and dance wherever you are. So yeah,
Okay.
I love classical music.
Okay. Now, I know you read a lot. If I were to ask you who you would consider as your preferred author.
Uh, if I have to talk about Indian authors, then I would say Preeti Shenoy. She has been writing really good things. Like, uh, it was her books that kind of inspired me to write about the real things like mental health and all these the other things that we spoke about earlier. So she has been trying to. She has covered a lot of these things even in her stories as well. So I think she is one of the biggest major inspiration behind what I am trying
Really?
to do right now. Yeah,
Okay. All
I do
right.
look up to her.
Okay. So she's the one, by the way. She's
Yes.
the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apart from her, then I love reading Jane Austen,
Oh,
and I love reading Jeffrey Archer as well. I mystery novels. I have read Sherlock Holmes. I love reading mystery novels as well.
okay. So
Yeah.
we're gonna stick with the with the lady you said at
Yeah.
the first one.
Preeti Shenoy. Yeah.
Now, my next question. I know you're very young, so that means you have a long career ahead of you. So that means you will have to teach the world not only about your Indian society, but also women empowerment is something that pertains to, cross borders. It's a global issue, by
Exactly.
the way.
Exactly.
So how do you see yourself as a writer, uh, 10 or 15 years from now?
I see myself building a platform for not just women, but for everyone. I mean, women empowerment is going to be a huge part of my life. And as you said, that it's a global,
Issue.
situation. It's where it is across the borders in every country, every village, every town. So I think I see myself traveling more first in order to understand that how different it is from what I see it over here to how different it is, say, in Canada or in every other place. So traveling to understand not just the culture, but the problems or the situations faced by people in those areas, because until and unless I see these things myself firsthand, I won't be able to write about them clearly, because just watching YouTube videos or watching the news won't give me 100% clear picture of how things go around, uh, you know from place to place. So I think,
Exactly.
yeah, 10 years down the line, I see myself visiting these places, trying to build a platform. It's a long, like, it's a big dream. I really hope that I get to achieve that, or try to make it happen. But so women empowerment is going to be a huge part of it. Apart from that, I also want to let this platform be a open podium for each and every person to just open up and speak a bit about, so like, gender, like, no gender bias or no limitations on what you can talk about, because a, a platform with zero judgment is what I am aiming towards.
Okay, this brings us to our last question. Sonyiaa, if I were to ask you, if there's a young person like you, so passionate about social justice like you, who would want to embark upon a journey to teach the world just like you, using her pen,
Yeah.
so what lesson would you give that person?
I would tell them that just do it, because the fear of people or the fear of judgment will hold you back more and more. So don't let that happen. Just do it. You don't know. The person right next door can relate to you and understand what you're trying to say.
Okay.
So take that risk, take that leap of faith. It is very important to trust your instincts and your guts. So if you feel that this is correct, or if you feel a need to stand up for it, then just do it. Don't think about it.
Wow. So with that, I'm just going to say it's been such a pleasure to
Thank you so
have
much.
author Soniyaa Murhe in the conversation.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you, and this has really been the conversation.